And good evening once again, everyone. The Diamond Dogs podcast is now on the air. Time to talk Suwannee baseball. I've got the head coach of the Suwannee baseball team here. That's Coach Billy Moran, and also Mr. Hall of Famer on my left side. That is Mr. Tom Daniels. I'm Wayne Littrell. The Diamond Dogs podcast is brought to you by our good friends at First Federal Bank and also by Pool Realty. Thank you to all of our sponsors here at River Country, and thank you for watching and subscribing to the channel on YouTube. All right, Coach, let's get into it. Congratulations. Another win. Big win over Menendez last night. I wasn't at the ball game, so give me some details.
Um, it was a good game. Menendez came out, scored two in the first. We had an error early. We walked a couple guys early. Then they got I don't want to say a cheap hit, but got a timely hit for them. Scored two runs. And I felt like our guys did a really good job of not feeling pressure, not trying to do too much. Finished the inning, came in. I think we scored two ourselves in the first, and then just played good baseball throughout the game. Pitched well, did a lot of things really well.
6-3, the final score. So 15-6 now in the year. You've won 7 in a row, 11 of the last 12. Getting hot at the right time.
Yep, yeah, we want to keep that going. We feel pretty good right now. Feel pretty strong about our matchups, and every time we step on the field, we feel like we have a really good opportunity to win.
Tom, you've watched these guys now for a couple of weeks, and what are your impressions as the season goes on? They seem to get stronger.
Well, the great thing is there's like not one superstar that they're putting everything on his back, and he's going to try to carry him. I got to shut him out. I got to hit a home run. It does seem like a sincere team effort with interchangeable pieces,
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
and the only thing that coach has to do is make sure we don't get a little overconfident.
That's right.
Yeah, and we've still got some tough ball games. I mean, you've got a pretty tough one tonight, and then you've got a game in Georgia on the road to finish out the regular season before district tournament time. What do we know? Let's look ahead. What do we know about Lowndes coming in tomorrow? Normally, that's a pretty tough ball club.
Yeah, I mean, Lowndes has historically been a powerhouse baseball organization out of Valdosta. They are back-to-back state champions in, I want to say, 7A baseball. So the biggest size school that they have in the state of Georgia. They've won two state championships back-to-back. So that doesn't just happen by accident.
Right.
So they have a good coaching staff there. They have a good culture that they've established, and they have proven to pump out really good baseball players. So we're going to have to go over there and play good baseball. And, we feel pretty good about our opportunity to go over there and win a baseball game.
And that'll be the last game of the regular season. It was actually scheduled earlier this week, but it was rained out, so rescheduled for Thursday night. And it's actually a great thing. It's a great test because if you go up there and lose, you can refocus yourself, get that out of the way, and suddenly those big heads, become smaller before we enter the playoffs. But at the same time, if you go up there and get the win, it's like we might be pretty good.
Well, one thing that I've tried to convey to my team is guys, we are good. We're a very talented baseball team, and like you said, we don't have one guy that's good. We have a lot of guys that are really really good, and so um, I would have to agree and disagree because I think we do have a bunch of guys that are really really good baseball players that are if they were put into another organization, they would be the superstar on that team. But we have so many guys that play the game well. Um, and I don't think, I think that it was really good for us to be challenged early in the season. We got some of that humble pie early.
Yeah.
And so we know what it's like to lose three games in a row. And we don't like that,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that going into Lowndes, what it's going to do for us, the best thing that we're going to get out of it is it will provide a on the road playoff environment, and it'll just give us a preview to what we're going to see for the next couple weeks to come.
Now, you're going to Lowndes and they're in Georgia. I don't know what their team is, but I can tell you I remember facing a team called Bowles that was pretty good.
hmm
We had some kid named Chipper Jones.
hmm
There somebody at Lowndes that could go in the draft early.
Um, I don't think they have anybody, especially not of that caliber. I know they have a bunch of good players. I'm not really sure if they have any Division One
Well,
commits right now. I know they graduated like 18 guys last year, and I
mm,
want to say like 5 of them were D1 guys, and like 12 of them were committed to college.
The thing is, you don't know. You're looking at high school and you say, well, that's a sought after recruit, but you don't know it's going to turn into Chipper Jones. I mean, down the line, and as far as major league. But I remember seeing Chipper when he played for Bowles, and he was a pretty good ball player, but you didn't see that all-star potential.
no, and but you knew that this guy could go to the
He
next
had a
level.
chance, yeah.
And if Bowles has somebody that's a 17, 18-year-old kid who's thrown in the mid 90s, he's going somewhere.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, let's face it. I mean, we've seen a lot of guys get into into college, get into the next level, get into the minor league system, and it's pretty tough to climb that ladder to get to a major league roster.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot to it. The biggest thing is health, like talking about our two active players that we have, Bo Bonds and Houston Morel. I mean, both of those guys have the talent, the skill, and the mindset to make it. I believe that it will, in the end, it'll come down to can they stay physically healthy, because they're talented enough to play big league baseball, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would just the opportunity to play for a living.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even if you're taking buses and going, to minor league ball clubs, that's still pretty special.
Oh, heck yeah. I mean, we got guys that in our program that did it for a long time. I think Daniel Tillman played maybe 9 years in the minor league system, and he was made it all the way up to Double A. Was invited to big league spring training camp. He was one phone call away from making it to the big leagues himself. Ryan Stovall played 8 years in the minor leagues and was a great hitter, utility player, and had really, really good success in the minor league program. Same thing. He was one phone call away from getting his shot, and it never came for him. So, um, but yeah, those guys will be able to speak a little bit more to that grind of just playing for baseball for a living for multiple years. Um, and you got to think, man, that throughout that time, there's got to be a roller coaster of emotions, of successes
I would
and
imagine.
failures. So I mean, those guys, it speaks to their character of what kind of competitors they are to be able to withstand, you know, that much really failure if you think about it,
Yeah.
because the goal is to make it to the big leagues, and for 9 years Daniel didn't, and we look at it as, wow, what a great success, and I'm
Yeah.
sure he's sitting here thinking like I didn't make it. It's like, man, no, that you got to live the dream life, for that long, and you can't replace that experience. The same thing with Ryan. So I mean, there's something to be said about that, in my opinion.
And the other thing is, I can promise you that both of them were making more than a high school teacher at Suwannee. So that playing the baseball part
Yeah.
was a great way to make a living. And you're a young man,
Hmm.
and if you don't make it and it's over and you're 27, 28 years old, you can still get a life. But in the
Oh yeah.
meanwhile, you get to paid to do something you love.
Well, what I love about this game too is it creates such character. I mean, you look at Daniel Tillman and Ryan Stovall, for example, what they have done throughout the community and through their like professional life. They went on to be greatly successful in their fields. They're just baseball. It prepares you, in my opinion, it prepares you for life. It teaches you how to be part of a team. It teaches you how to be selfless. It teaches you to think about other people, before yourself. So I mean, baseball, and it checks all the boxes for me, and I just love the game, and it's been great for my life, and it's done a you know I attribute a lot of any success that I've had to baseball and what this Suwannee High School program has done for me throughout my life. So,
Yeah. Just think of what it does teach you. I mean, it teaches you, dedication, teaches you hard work. It teaches you, that can pay off. It certainly teaches you to be part of a unit, part of a team, not an individual. I mean, baseball is probably the most team-oriented sport that there
for
is out
sure.
there
Yeah,
because you can be a great individual if you don't have those other eight guys helping you
that's it.
out playing together. I mean,
That's
great
right.
night, buddy. Sorry you lost.
That's it. I mean,
And another great thing about baseball, we have two other team sports that, we're real familiar with. That's basketball and football.
Mm.
You're not going to see football stars at 5'6", 150.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to see basketball stars at
Right.
5'10", 200. So this is a sport. You look at Jose Altuve in the major leagues. The guy is an MVP. He's at 5'6".
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I've seen guys that aren't big in stature that can, they just know how to hit the baseball,
Oh,
and great defensive players. I mean, so you're right. It does give an opportunity for some of the smaller people.
And the adversity it teaches you to deal with, man. Like there's a lot of guys that deal with more failure at the high school and the college and the professional level.
well,
You know,
if you bat 300, you failed 70% of the time.
yeah. I mean, and you're a Hall of Famer if you do
Yeah.
that. You know.
That's right.
So I mean, and I'm sure there's many more guys that have played in the minor league systems. Have played for a length of time. So if I'm not mentioning those people, I'm just like those two. Daniel Tillman and Ryan Stovall. Those are guys that I personally played with in high school. So I'm more familiar with their story. But I mean, think about like Bo Bonds and what he's had to go through. He had to have arm surgery, and now he's coming back off of arm surgery, and I mean he's just doing great. Houston Morrell was a freshman All American at Oklahoma State, and then for reasons that I don't know, ended up moving to a pitching position, and that his I'm sure he would have rather played shortstop. But it happened for a good reason because now he's playing professional baseball as a pitcher.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it's just, like I said, that adversity just teaches you to find the good and then just build. So
When you said pitcher, I'm sure that you don't remember Kenny Williams. You may not remember Kenny Williams, but he went to Suwannee. That's actually, I think he's Mike Jones's brother-in-law, who's in the
Okay.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Great ball player.
And he got drafted, and he's like 5'10", and he's in a Detroit minor league camp. And they said that you're supposed to be over there with the pitchers. He said, "Well, I only pitched a couple of games in high school." He said, "You're left-handed. You're 5'10". I got a million guys that could steal 20 bases, hit 20 home runs, and play the outfield.
mhm,
You're a pitcher. So if you got any kind of an arm, unless you can hit lights out, that's where they want to put you.
for sure.
And, when we talked about size, when you get, I went into the Hall of Fame with Tyler Chambliss, and, he was a guy who was only 5'10",
Mhm.
and
He could bring it though.
led the nation in saves, at Florida State. So there have been some great ones, and there have been guys that you've never heard of that were pretty good baseball players. Chip Harris was a good baseball player. He's not in the Hall of Fame for baseball.
Right.
Donnie Allen, same thing. He's not there for that. But there have been a lot of athletes who have come through here, and you know, every sport since I played it in the caveman days has just gotten so much better.
Oh yeah.
And the athletes are just, despite they're still so well coached. You're not going to pull too much over on anybody anymore.
Right.
Yeah. No doubt about that. Coach, last game that we broadcast was against Santa Fe. So I want to take a time out here and then come back and talk to you about that. It was senior night, so we want to salute the seniors and talk about that win and the season sweep of the Raiders. We'll do that right after we come back. Dog Baseball and the Diamond Dogs podcast is brought to you in part by G&W Site Services. They can do it all from land clearing to site prep and grade work, excavation, pond digging, driveways, culverts, material hauling, foundations. The phone number 386-209-4856. Ben Newman, G&W Site Services, 209-4856. You'll find them online at gwsiteservicesllc.com. Back with more of the Diamond Dogs podcast right after this. Stay tuned.
First Federal Bank is your partner in helping your business grow and assist with financial overhead. With person-to-person customer support, top-of-the-line banking services, and digital tools, your money is never out of reach and always safe. For over 60 years, we've been financing community businesses and partnering with growing franchises to provide stability and expansion opportunities. Bank with real people, so you can focus on running your business.
When you're in the market for a home or vacant property to build that dream home on, contact Pool Realty of Live Oak. They can also help locate commercial real estate for your business venture. Pool Realty has a full team of professional and caring real estate brokers and agents, so always think Pool Realty of Live Oak to help you find the perfect home or property in Suwannee or surrounding counties. Pool Realty, a proud supporter of RiverCountrySports.com.
Rapid Fiber Internet's locally owned and operated, powered by Suwannee Valley Electric Co-op. Our local employees are dedicated to providing a world-class customer experience to each of our Suwannee Valley Electric members. Make the switch today to Rapid Fiber Internet's 100% fiber to the home internet system. To learn more about Rapid Fiber Internet, visit rapid-fiber.com. Again, that's rapid-fiber.com or call 866-64-RAPID.
When watching the big game, you want pizza. Papa John's Pizza of Live Oak has what you're looking for. Delicious pizza, cooked just the way you like it. From their signature sauce to their toppings, the fresh original dough, plus wings, breadsticks, and more. Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's Pizza, 6852 Suwannee Plaza Lane in Live Oak. Call for delivery or stop by today. Number 7, Dylan Green. Number 12, Caden Jenkins. Number 13, Grayson Bonds. So senior night last Wednesday, that was pretty special. You have 3 seniors, and they introduced them along with their families, as we just saw on River Country. That was kind of a neat experience for those guys.
Yeah, it was great, man. Dylan Green, Caden Jenkins, Grayson Bonds. I mean, those guys are they've put in their time. It was a great experience for them. I'm glad that they were able to have their family out there. I think just to talk about one in particular that I saw, Grayson Bonds was out there, and they were taking pictures and everything. Moms and dads, they get emotional, but
Oh yeah.
Grayson's little sister, she just started bawling, crying. She was so overcome with emotion,
Yeah.
and he was just afterwards. It took him a minute. He was kind of shook. He was just like, "Man, my sister was really upset, or like she was really, emotional," and it kind of just made him kind of appreciate the night. It was a pretty cool experience. I thought I enjoyed seeing those guys um, get to have that experience, and I'm very happy that we were able to play well enough for them to win on their senior night.
Yeah.
Did they get trinkets or were waiting till the banquet?
No, we do all that stuff in the banquet. We don't give anything out. They'd probably lose it before the end of the game.
Going back to the game, though, what I found cool was a lot of the underclassmen were, when things were going there, yeah, do it for the seniors,
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
were kind of all into it, and
yeah.
that was really neat to watch.
Well, I tried to drive that home for them. I let them know, hey guys, this is about the seniors tonight. We gotta play well for those guys. Let's give them a memorable senior night. Nobody wants to lose on senior night.
We talk about the team and how it's kind of interchangeable parts, and how they're deep with the pitching staff. I mean, I go back and I look at that game, and you start Colton Rogers, and he comes in, and he, you know, maybe you could say struggled a little bit at the beginning of the game, but he really got his stuff together. I mean, he was grooving,
Mhm.
and then we got to get more work in for some of the other guys. I mean, you could have left him in. His pitch count was pretty low after 3.
Yeah, I want to say so that was last week. That was our second game of the week. So we had to get some arms
Yeah.
off the mound there. This week we have 3 games, so we'll be able to throw a few more arms, and hopefully those guys will be able to extend a little bit. But yeah, when you play 2 games a week, we have so many arms that we just, we look at it and we weigh the pros and cons, and we feel like, we felt like we were in a good enough spot to where we could get him out and let somebody else get in there and get some work in.
And you did. You got 3 different pitchers in, which was great. And offensively, we got a lead early, and then we really came to life later in the ball game, the 4th inning and the 6th inning, where we really kind of piled it on, and 9-2 final score.
Yeah, yeah, we swung the bats well. We've hit a lot of balls really hard, and we're putting pressure on defenses. It's hard to field the ball when it's hit really really hard at you. So we've done that a lot. And I feel like the score doesn't reflect how well we are actually hitting the baseball right now.
Now, when,
Actually, your team batting average has really picked up.
Mhm.
I mean, you've gained like 40 points in the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Well, we've
Been hitting the baseball.
well, well, the thing is we've focused on some of the things that we've been trying to coach them all season on, and they're really starting to see and believe that, the approach that we're coaching, the method of hitting,
Mhm.
it works. It's proven. So,
Yeah.
and they're seeing that and they're really liking it. So I hope to see that team batting average jump up even more, throughout the next couple weeks.
But one thing that you said a long time ago is that the stats will come.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the stats. Let's worry about each at bat, and they've done that, and now the stats have come.
Well, the the thing that I want to focus on is, if we're winning baseball games, if we're finding ways to win baseball games, individual stats will come.
Yeah.
So, and that's really what it's come down to, is we're just doing whatever it takes to find a way to win. And then, that instead of me going up there and trying to get a hit for my stats, I'm going up there and trying to have a great at bat and move a runner over, or sacrifice fly a runner in, and I'm just trying to do my best to do my job, and then instead of hitting a sac fly, hit a double. So
now we've talked about hitting, we've talked about pitching. You said that, if you play a game, you have less than 5 strikeouts, you have a good chance of winning. We haven't talked about defense. Do we still take 100 balls a day, 100 ground balls a
oh
day?
yeah, we that's every
I mean,
day.
I didn't see, and in the games that I went to, I didn't see, well, I didn't see any errors. Wayne sees them, but I don't.
Well, we're pretty sound defensively. Our infielders are really good, and we have more infielders than we have positions on the field. So, we have guys that play outfield, that are, you know by trade they're an infielder. We just don't have
And
enough
if they're
infield spots.
shortstops, it's even better.
Oh yeah, well I've got 4 guys that can play shortstop really really well. So I mean, at any given time you got 4 shortstops on the field playing different positions. So I mean that's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Like I said, one day we'll have a guy playing outfield. Next day he'll play, you know, third, short. I mean, we got guys that play all over the field and they're versatile. And I just think it makes us better. It makes the team better, knowing that, like, when if I have to go to the mound, I have a very capable guy to go to my position behind me. So yeah, for pitching purposes, it makes life so much easier.
Yeah, because you take, Gabe Garcia off short, and most teams, you're taking away your shortstop, you're going to have a hole to fill. I mean, you might move your second baseman over. Maybe he's your best option. Who are you going to put at second? I mean, you don't have that problem.
No, I mean, I'm putting Coy Fryer at shortstop
Yeah.
when Gabe goes to the mound, and Coy Fryer. I mean, and if you ask me which one's better, it's like, I don't know which one's better. They're both really, really good. I can tell you that when I make my lineup, it's just like, hey, I think this gives us the best chance to win. So, I'm going to put Coy in center field today. Coy will play third. Coy will play, short. He'll pitch. You know,
I
do
have seen
stuff like
Coy
that.
play almost every position on the field. He hadn't caught, but I think he's played every outfield position. And he
Yeah.
hadn't played first, but I've seen him play second, third, short. He's pitched.
Well, to me,
Very versatile.
to me, that's the ultimate compliment. Like, what position does he play? What position do you need him to play? Do anything, I mean, he's just an all-around athlete. And when you talk about, well, who's your best guy in this position? He'll be in the conversation of every position.
Yeah.
So, we got a lot of guys like that. I mean, Kyler Watson is another guy. Go out there in the outfield, play first base. He does catch. He pitches. He can play anywhere on the field
Yeah.
and play it well.
He's got to be a pretty good first baseman.
Oh,
He's making
absolutely.
some digs out there,
Absolutely.
stretching.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
doing a good job.
Let me ask you this. You have your coaching staff. I know you're pitching coach, and there's a guy that knows a whole lot about pitching because he was a pitcher.
Mhm.
So you have a catcher whose father is the grounds crew,
Mhm.
who knows a whole lot about catching.
Mhm.
So the rest of you guys, if you played a position, and on first base would be one where, you know what, people think it's easy, but this is where you play when you hold the runner. This is how you move back. If you played first base
Mhm.
at a high school or beyond, whatever, it's a whole lot easier to coach it because you know the nuances. So where did you play, and does that help?
Oh, I was like Floyd Fryer or Jace Moran. Like I played everywhere. In college, I played all 9 positions in one game one time. Just because my coach was like, you can do anything. We're gonna make sure you play all 9 positions in one game. So I mean, I can I played everywhere.
So
I
each
was
inning, you go back to defense, and,
yeah,
and
to
you're in a
change.
different spot.
Yeah,
That's pretty neat.
yeah. It was pretty cool. We I probably should have been a catcher by trade, but I was just a little too short. Or I was a short guy. But in my age group, when I came up, I always played shortstop or second base. And when I got to high school, Ryan Stovall was a shortstop, and like I said earlier, he was a pretty good player. Played many years in professional baseball, so I played second base and I pitched. But
As a second baseman,
mhm.
easier to teach them how to do a double play.
Yeah, I mean, we've yeah, I've coached the same guys for quite a while, so it's really just you know wash, rinse, repeat on footwork. Just staying sharp, making sure they do it right, making sure that we're focused on correct footwork. But yeah, I mean, to me, it's very easy to coach. I would say first base is difficult for me to coach because I didn't play it as much. But Reed Baldwin played first base in high school and college, so he coaches that pretty well. I got Blake Swan that played catcher and in high school and in college. So there we've kind of got all of our positions pretty well covered. Outfielders, and Matthew Pennington is a great outfielder. If he didn't go to college to pitch, he definitely could have went to be an outfielder as well. He was just such a good pitcher that you know they didn't care if he could play the outfield. They just wanted to see him pitch. So
Speaking of first baseman, and Tyler, last game, or the game that we got to see last week, fields a ball at first, but got a force at second.
mhm,
And I'm like, step on the bag and get the easy out, but he goes to second,
mhm,
and he did it twice, once successfully, once with an errant throw,
right.
which led to their one run. But what do you prefer? Would you rather see the out and then a tag play at second base, or go ahead and try to turn two, which is a pretty tough double play?
Sure. I want him to do whatever he instinctively feels. If he instinctively feels to go to second, let's go to second. I'm glad that play happened. We made an error, and one time I'm happy that we made that error because it's better for it to happen in that game where we had, it wasn't a super costly error and we can learn from it. And what was great about it is just like you said, it happened again.
Mhm.
And the second time we took our time, we
Yep,
didn't get sped up,
that's right.
and we made a good throw and we got an out.
Yeah.
And I explained to him, I said, hey, that first base to second back to first, it's a low percentage double play. It's a high percentage get one out.
Mhm.
I said, so we have to understand, like, we're not going to help anything by trying to speed it up. All we're going to do is create chaos because the way baseball is if we take our time and go force out at second, now we get a ground ball to second base after that. Now we're a double play and the inning's over,
Yeah.
as opposed to throw it away, create offense for them. That's my biggest thing that I like to coach my guys on is like, hey, let's only give these guys what they earn. If the guy goes up there and hits a double, next guy hits a home run, they score two, they earn that. But if we walk two guys,
Yeah.
then a guy hits a double, then we make an error, and then a guy hits a home run and they get four. That's where we're aiding them separating and score. So, I mean, most of our games, like I said, if they hit 5 doubles in a baseball game, they're going to score 4 runs most likely. We should still win.
When you are at the third base line and coaching, do you take note of which way the outfielders throw, whether they're left-handed or right-handed?
I take note of everything.
Okay.
So
So when you,
I
so
pay attention to detail so much that it's crazy.
so when you
Yeah.
so when you take that note and
Mhm.
it's like, hey, the right fielder is slow and he's a left-handed thrower. So if you hit something to the gap, be looking at third, you let them know ahead of time, or you're just waving that arm.
Yeah, it helps to know your guys. You got to know your guys, know what they're doing, know what how well they run. And you know, a lot of times it's kind of a risk reward. Like where are we at? Um,
Yeah, how important do you have to
right,
get that run in?
right.
Yeah.
So if it's something to where last week we had a guy we had a guy thrown out at the plate, and I knew the center fielder threw the ball well, but also I knew that wasn't going to be a make or break, and it was a very big learning situation for us, and I coached on it, and had we done everything perfectly, I think we would have been safe and it wouldn't have been close at all. However, we missed on a couple things, and I coached that up, and I think they can understand now. Okay, I see, but it was one of those where okay, I'm going to send this guy, and we're either going to cause enough pressure to where this kid's got to field the ball, come up, make a perfect throw, catcher's got to catch it, tag, and then the umpire's got to get it right. A lot of things got to go right. So, but I knew that the center fielder had a good arm, and I just
How
play your
many outs
chances.
were there?
I want to say there was one out at the time. So there was one out at the time and made it two outs. So that's another thing. So if we're in a situation where we really, really need that run, and it's one of those where, hey, we can't get thrown out here, then yeah, I'll hold him up and we'll play baseball with a runner on third with one out. And we can sack fly him in, we can bunt him in, or we can hit him in.
That was also a big inning where we scored 5 runs. I mean,
Right.
so why not take that shot?
That's right.
We had things rolling and got thrown out 8-2, but that, like you said, it had to be the right throw.
Yeah.
It had to be, the catcher's got to catch it, make the tag, and then the umpire's got to get it right. So there's a
Well,
lot that can go wrong.
and that was a funny play too, because I want to say Gabe Garcia hit that ball. It hit the second baseman's foot and kicked straight up in the air. So the ball, so that not only the center fielder had to pick it up, but he had to run a long ways to
Ways to
get
get
it.
there. Yeah.
So I felt like our timing it was good. When I watched the video back, without calling anybody out or whatever, like I said, we made a simple base running. I don't want to say a mistake, but we just didn't do something great. We did it kind of okay. Had we done it well, we would have been safe, I think. And like I said, we coached that up, and I
You'd
think,
send them again.
oh yeah, 100%.
Eh,
If we did it right, I don't even think he would have to slide. So
And I tell you what, it was a great night at the ballpark last Wednesday because you had senior night going not only on the baseball field, but also on the softball field.
oh yeah,
So when they got a win over Fort White, it was a double dog victory night. And then you had the middle around the restrooms or what have you. You had the paper ball or whatever they're playing. I mean, they had a whole thing going on there. So there was baseball being played all over the place. So it was a neat night.
yeah, yeah. I'm super happy for the girls team beating Fort White. That was a big win.
Big win.
Big
Yeah.
win for those girls. So I'm proud of them for that. That's awesome.
Yeah, they've had a great season. So congratulations to the Suwannee Lady Dogs who got it done and continue getting it done. And your team's got a tough one tonight as North Florida Christian is coming in. So want to come back and talk a little bit about that right after we take this time out. It's the Diamond Dogs podcast. Back with more after this on RiverCountrySports.com. When you're in the market for a home or vacant property to build that dream home on, contact Pool Realty of Live Oak. They can also help locate commercial real estate for your business venture. Pool Realty has a full team of professional and caring real estate brokers and agents, so always think Pool Realty of Live Oak to help you find the perfect home or property in Suwannee or surrounding counties. Pool Realty, a proud supporter of RiverCountrySports.com.
First Federal Bank is your partner in helping your business grow and assist with financial overhead. With person-to-person customer support, top-of-the-line banking services, and digital tools, your money is never out of reach and always safe. For over 60 years, we've been financing community businesses and partnering with growing franchises to provide stability and expansion opportunities. Bank with real people so you can focus on running your business.
Hey Bulldogs, let the UPS Store of Live Oak handle all of your packing and shipping needs. The UPS Store of Live Oak also offers mailboxes, printing, faxing, scanning. We also offer notary services and shredding services as well. Stop by your local UPS store. There's help in here, real help.
The UPS Store, located at 6824 Suwannee Plaza Lane, Live Oak, Florida.
Rapid Fiber Internet's locally owned and operated, powered by Suwannee Valley Electric Co-op. Our local employees are dedicated to providing a world-class customer experience to each of our Suwannee Valley Electric members. Make the switch today to Rapid Fiber Internet's 100% fiber to the home internet system. To learn more about Rapid Fiber Internet, visit rapid-fiber.com. Again, that's rapid-fiber.com or call 866-64-RAPID.
Second.
Back here on the Diamond Dogs podcast, Suwannee Baseball on RiverCountrySports.com is sponsored in part by Southern Roots Catering. Call 386-243-5178. Convenient, delicious, affordable, and hassle-free. 386-243-5178. That's Southern Roots Catering. You can email them, srcateringllc@gmail.com.
You know, Billy played with a pretty good guy, Ryan Stovall. And I mean, I'm not kidding you. Like forever, Swanee has been blessed with a catcher. I mean, we've watched games where, you just know the guy's not going to throw anybody out. But you play us and, you better than 50-50 chance we're going to throw people out. But one of the nuances of the game is who's going to take the throw down at second. So when you played with Ryan, was it normal, or because you're playing with Ryan, it's like, the glove in the mouth was open or the mouth was closed?
Well, it usually it changed. Ryan and I we had a way to communicate that, but a lot of it changed based on who the hitter was, right-handed, left-handed hitter, or if it was like a right-handed hitter that was pretty pull happy, then I would take the throw. But just a little bit of everything, we changed it up. It changed per hitter.
Because what I saw in the few games that I saw, the opponents really, really cheated over there,
Oh yeah.
and it was like, if your second baseman is cheating over there, it's not so hard to go to right. And, saw that a couple of times.
Well, and that to me is it's a testament to our guys' ability to steal bases. The scouting report on us is, we put the ball in play. We're not striking out a lot, and we steal bases pretty regular, and we don't get thrown out very often.
Now, you steal a lot of bases at the high school level. How often do you hit and run?
Um, we'll hit and run from time to time, not much, just because there's no reason if you're hitting and running and you accidentally hit the line drive right at them, you'll be doubled up. Whereas if we have a high success rate of stealing, we can just steal and
The idea is
be
to
on
get him in
second.
scoring
Go
position,
ahead
right?
and get them over
Yeah.
to second.
And what is your coaching philosophy about stealing third?
You have to be safe. Yeah,
You have
there's
to know the
yeah,
catcher can't throw you out.
yeah, there's no reason to if you're on second, we're going to score on a hit anyway, so there's no reason to chance it unless we know we're going to be safe.
Unless you've got that lead and you see an
Yeah.
opportunity and you just take it. Yeah.
Yeah. And like thinking back to the Mayo game, the first Mayo game that you guys broadcast, Lopez got thrown out at third, and he was like, we talked it over, and it was a situation where I gave him the green light to steal, and he stole, and we just didn't get it done, and we talked through how to make sure that we do that right, and I feel like that was a changing moment in the game.
Yeah. But at the same time, you go back to that game where runs were a premium
Yeah.
and we were trying to, see if we
Sure.
can steal one that
For
inning.
sure. And so like, the risk reward was there. However, you know, I love the fact that we didn't hit on that night, and all we have done is just gotten better and better and better since that night. So that to me is where I'm so proud of our guys is we've had failures, Instead of just throwing our hands up in the air and hanging our head, we look at our failures and we find ways to be better, and not make the same mistakes over and over again. And I mean, it's pretty clear to see that we've done that. We've done a good job of being students of the game and getting better every single day.
Well, Coach, you got the season sweep over Santa Fe. Never easy to beat a team twice. You get another opportunity with North Florida Christian, and I noticed the record. It's very North Florida Christian like.
Hmm.
They come in at 8-13. Tell me a bit about this year's North Florida Christian team.
They're young. They're a real young team. They have a couple of guys that can really hit. Um, and I know for a fact that they have one arm that is a pretty big time arm. And so depending on who they throw, it could be, I look forward to it being a battle anyways. One thing that I can tell you historically about North Florida Christian is they are a playoff powerhouse team. So if they make it to the playoffs, they are going to be very, very good. So yeah, I think they will make the playoffs because their schedule they've played is probably, I would venture to say their schedule is on up there in strength of schedule. So, I mean, Mike Posey has been at North Florida Christian that's the head coach. He's been there for as long as I can remember. They've named the field after him. He's won multiple state championships. He's been to the Final Four, probably more times than birthdays that I've had. So, I mean, his reputation speaks for itself as far as baseball, and coaching that program. So, you're not going to whatever that record shows, that's not a correct reflection of what they're capable of as a program.
Yeah, I mean, normally their record is outstanding. Just surprised me a little bit, but maybe a rebuilding year this year, or
Mhm.
or maybe they're getting to the postseason. You never know what can happen
That's it.
if they get hot at the right time. One kid I know you're going to have to look out for is number 11. Looks like Jimmy Meeks,
Mhm.
hitting 349, slugging percentage of 508. So obviously one of the team leaders.
Yeah, he's a tough hitter. He's a first baseman. Last year when we faced him, we found out the hard way that he could swing the bat. This year when we faced him, we made sure to pitch him very, very tough, and we were able to get out of there unscathed. And they've got a couple of arms that are really, really good. They got there's a kid named Jace Riggins. He's a sophomore, but he's up to 92, and he's got some pedigree. His dad played professional baseball. He was a big leaguer, so I mean he's pretty talented.
Yeah, I noticed. I'm looking at common opponents, and they lost to Childs.
Mhm.
They played St. John Paul awfully tough. They fell, but only a 2-0 score there, and we know the type of team that is. So this is obviously a ball club that if you catch them at the wrong time, they can whoop you.
Oh yeah, well, and make no mistake about it. That Tallahassee rivalry right there, St. John Paul, they threw their number one against North Florida
Yeah.
Christian. He went the whole game, and that guy that pitched against them is up to 94. So they faced a really really talented arm that night. So like I said, when we faced St. John Paul, we didn't see their number one guy because the day before is when they played that game. So they threw their number one against North Florida Christian. And that's kind of what you're going to get when North Florida Christian has been historically good. They're going to see everybody's number one. So when you get to playoff baseball, things are going to change a little bit. So I look forward to those guys being very very tough tonight.
By the way, the game starts at 6 o'clock tonight against North Florida Christian.
Yep.
So make your way out to Booster Field. Bring your appetite. Good food at the concession stand, and should be a great night for baseball. Weather-wise, you can't beat this.
Yeah, yeah, it's really good.
Now, we talked about good players and we talked about players from the past. I saw Shannon Jernigan take 27 walks in like 20 games.
Hmm.
Do you have any pitch arounds on your team or on anybody that we're facing?
I think all of that's probably situational based. I think like the Meeks kid, we know that what he's capable of. I wouldn't say that we're going to pitch around him.
Depends on if
Um,
anybody's on base or
yeah,
not, or
I
what the
mean, a
situation.
lot of it has to do with situations. Because he's a bigger kid. He doesn't look like he can run real well. So if we get him on the base path, I don't think he's really a threat. So yeah, I would say that if we walked him, if we get to a 3-2 count, instead of grooving him a fastball, if we want to throw him a breaking ball, maybe we get him to chase. Worst that happens, he goes to first, and he's going to be pretty much station to station. He's not going to steal bases, and we can live with that. So
I was looking at the district tournament, which is coming up next week. So the regular season winds up this week. We got North Florida Christian tonight, and then we're on the road at Lowndes tomorrow night, and then next week the district tournament begins 3-3A, and this is a satellite tournament. So Suwannee will play at home. We're the number 1 seed, so we get all home games. First game is going to be Wolfson and Stanton. That's your 4 and 5 seeds matching up,
Yep.
and so the winner of that one will move on to face us. I don't know if you've taken a look at Wolfson or Stanton, but it looks like Baldwin and Paxton will play that other semifinal. 2 pretty good clubs. So
Right.
the winner of that, and then whoever survives will go to the championship game, which will be Thursday next week.
That's right. So we've already played Wolfson earlier in the season. We won the game, but they were a good ball club, and you know, um, anything can happen in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
that's true.
So what we're looking at is a lot of people are saying, oh, well, so we'll be home on Tuesday and Thursday next week, and I'm like, no, we have a home game on Tuesday.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
You
If
know,
you don't win that one,
yeah,
it's
there is no
it's
Thursday.
no sense worrying about
There
Thursday.
is no Thursday,
That's
right?
true.
So we play on Tuesday. That's what we know for sure.
One at a time. I like that approach.
You have an arm that you want to start, or you haven't decided yet?
Yeah. So I think rotational wise, I'm sure it'll line up to where Grayson Green will start the game. But we'll do whatever we have to do to win on Tuesday. Like as far as I'm concerned, there is no Thursday. Uh, we will throw the whole
So it's
kitchen
not
sink.
like you're going to just plan ahead to Thursday.
No.
You're obviously focused on Tuesday
There,
because you can't get to
there,
Thursday
there
without
is
winning
no
Tuesday.
there is no Thursday.
Okay.
In my mind, there is no Thursday. We have to win Tuesday. So that's it. We'll just deal with whatever's left over for Thursday. If there is anything left over, we will use whatever we have to, whoever we have to win on Tuesday.
Okay. Fair enough. What is the pitching rotation? Who's starting tonight?
So it'll be Colton Rogers tonight.
Okay.
And then it'll be, whoever's available. I think last night we started Kyler Watson, so he probably won't be able to pitch today. Um, we threw Dylan Green, we threw Hampton Newman, and then we threw Jace. I think Jace only threw maybe like 5 or 10 pitches. Dylan only threw like 10, 12 pitches. So those guys are available if we need them.
Yeah.
But we still have, Coy Fryer, Gabe Garcia.
Yeah. You got a game tomorrow too. So
Yeah. So we got a lot of guys. We got a couple of JV guys that we've brought up who I feel confident throwing those guys out there as well. So
We've mentioned, I think, every name on the varsity, and at least we've done it through the telecast. Who are the JV guys you called up?
Um, man, I don't want to leave anybody out. I called up Bailey Williams, really talented shortstop pitcher. He's a kind of a smaller frame guy now, but he's I mean his feet are this big. Like he's gonna be a tall, like really really good baseball player. He's got good baseball IQ. But does a lot of good things. I look forward to seeing him when after he hits a good growth spurt and fills out. He's really really going to be a good baseball player. Kale Staley, same thing. He's talent wise, it's all there. We just he's just a freshman. We need to put some weight on him, get him a little bit bigger. Parker Krabs is a catcher. He's a really talented player. Hits the ball well. Case Nickerson, he's been back and forth all year long. He's a big time arm. I think he's going to throw the baseball really hard. Um, Joel McDonald. Joel McDonald is in my opinion has a really really big opportunity to be a big time pitcher. And I look forward to seeing what he can do. Um, you know, Trenton Klein. He's another guy you can throw out there at catcher, second base, or right field, whatever. Trying to see Judson Law. Judson Law he hit leadoff for the JV all year. Left-handed hitter, outfielder, pitcher. He can throw. He can really pitch. He's got a good breaking ball. He's got a whippy arm. So he's going to be talented. Just all of these guys are very good. They're just kind of you can look at them and say, oh yeah, that kid's a freshman. Just physically, they haven't hit that fill out yet. But I look forward to those guys really, really developing into like awesome baseball players. And I hope I didn't forget anybody. I'm sure I am forgetting somebody.
Yeah, you can't remember everybody. But
There's 20 guys,
yeah, if we forgot one, we apologize. But it's not like we'll forget you in the long run.
no doubt.
There you go.
No doubt.
All right, got to cover that. I was looking at the rankings from the FHSA, the latest rankings, and we'll go over those after we do this. We'll take a quick time out here. Be right back with more of the Diamond Dogs podcast after this on RiverCountrySports.com.
First Federal Bank is your partner in helping your business grow and assist with financial overhead. With person-to-person customer support, top-of-the-line banking services, and digital tools, your money is never out of reach and always safe. For over 60 years, we've been financing community businesses and partnering with growing franchises to provide stability and expansion opportunities. Bank with real people so you can focus on running your business.
When you're in the market for a home or vacant property to build that dream home on, contact Pool Realty of Live Oak. They can also help locate commercial real estate for your business venture. Pool Realty has a full team of professional and caring real estate brokers and agents, so always think Pool Realty of Live Oak to help you find the perfect home or property in Suwannee or surrounding counties. Pool Realty, a proud supporter of RiverCountrySports.com.
Rapid Fiber Internet's locally owned and operated, powered by Suwannee Valley Electric Co-op. Our local employees are dedicated to providing a world-class customer experience to each of our Suwannee Valley Electric members. Make the switch today to Rapid Fiber Internet's 100% fiber to the home internet system. To learn more about Rapid Fiber Internet, visit rapid-fiber.com. Again, that's rapid-fiber.com or call 866-64-RAPID.
All right, hey, Bulldog fans. When you're hungry, we can satisfy that appetite at Beef O'Brady's of Live Oak. Come dine with us during, before, or after the ball game. We feature big screen TVs, so you won't miss any of the big events. At Beef O'Brady's, check out our game room featuring pool tables and games for the kids. Stop by Beef O'Brady's for some good food, good sports, and good games.
Back here on the Diamond Dogs podcast, and we were knew we'd leave somebody out, mentioning the JV kids that were going to be called up. We forgot Rylan.
Yeah, Rylan Lawson. He's been up and down all year. I feel like he's been with us. He stays in the dugout every single game and charts for us. And he's a really good pitcher. He's another guy. I think he's going to throw the baseball very, very hard one day. He's got real long arms. Real good pitchability. He's a student of the game. He's gonna be a big time contributor as time comes.
All right, Coach, the FHSA rankings, the latest rankings in 3A and Region 1, our region, and top 8, of course, make the playoffs. And I'm looking at 3 teams in the rankings that are within our district, Paxson, Baldwin, and Suwannee.
Mhm.
But what I wanted to bring up was we actually dropped, even though we hadn't lost a game. We've been on this great winning streak, but we have fallen from 2 to 3.
Mhm.
West Florida jumped ahead of us. They are 19-3 in the year, along with South Walton.
Mhm.
South Walton 1. West Florida 2, and Suwannee sits at 3.
Yeah, I
Big
think.
deal.
Well, like I said, I think that West was it West Florida?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think West Florida's schedule is it's pretty complimentary to help them be high ranked, not really challenged. I think our strength of schedule is a little bit tougher than theirs. So it's hard to tell, when 2 teams are doing really, really well, which one do you rank above the other?
Yeah.
The biggest one that my biggest focus is, hey, as long as we're one of the top 8, we have a chance.
Got a chance. And we look at strength of schedule. South Walton leads the region. They got the toughest strength of schedule. And then Suwannee comes in at number 2. And you're right, West Florida is way back. South Walton 16.14. I don't know what the formula is to come up with that.
Yeah.
But South Walton is 16.14, and then West Florida is 7.44.
Yeah,
So, that's a pretty big drop.
yeah. Yeah. What's ours?
11.78.
Yeah, I mean there's something to that. I mean, the teams that they're facing, I'm sure are not terrible teams, but they're not the level of baseball that we are facing. That's not, like I said, it's not saying that they're not a good baseball team.
Yeah.
It's just they're not playing the competition that we are day in and day out. So
Well, for example, you look at Baldwin, 12 and 11, but their strength of schedule 10.39, which is pretty respectable. Paxson comes in at 13 and 6. Their strength of schedule 0.04. I mean, unless that's a typo, I don't know who they're
that's
playing.
probably not a typo. I mean, the thing is there's two different ways to go about it. You can either, try to win a lot of games in the regular season to make it look like you had a good season, and that's your focus, or you
Because
can
you can't make it in the districts.
right, or you can, like battle test your guys and try to make a playoff run. And I think that you look at the programs that have been historically good. South Walton played in the state championship game last year, and they are really really good. They're a very talented baseball team. So, that schedule that they've put together has done nothing but made them even better. So, and a lot of the baseball teams, the really good baseball programs are kind of taking that model. They're trying to just test their guys. I mean, it's a really good. It's really good for recruiting too. When next year, when we'll have some guys that are committed next year, and let's just say for argument's sake that let's say Grayson Green commits to Florida State. His brother played at Florida State. Not that he will, I don't know, but let's just say he does. When we go play against St. John's Country Day, you're going to see a Florida State commit going against another Florida State commit. So that for recruiting, um, you know, what more would you want as a recruiter to go watch two Division I guys pitch against each other? I mean, two birds, one stone. So it creates a really good recruiting opportunity for our guys, and for everybody when you play frontline programs.
Yeah. And how cool is it for just a fan?
Oh yeah,
Come out and see a matchup like that.
oh heck,
I mean,
that's great.
yeah.
So yeah,
Well, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sitting here watching the ball game. Nobody can see, and
We do have a TV on
yeah,
in the background.
and I got to tell you that it just looks so good, so professional, and this streaming stuff is new, but you can't get a better. I mean, this is better than us creating it for you on the radio. I mean, we're good at it. I did a lot of lying, but this you got to tell the truth because it's right there.
They have
I,
pictures.
I can tell you that what I communicate with some of the programs in Jacksonville, Tallahassee, Valdosta area, some of the top programs, and when I tell them that not all of our games, that a lot of our home games are streamed and that they can go watch it on YouTube, they are so jealous. I mean, they're just like, how did you pull that off? And I'm like, man, I got this really awesome dude named Wayne Littrell that just handles everything. He's got
That
it.
wasn't the only liar. See,
Yeah. I appreciate that. The other coaches are probably thinking, "Oh, cool, easier way to scout you."
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I think it's great, man. It's the kids, the players get on there, and as soon as the game's over, they throw it on TV and rewatch it back. It's pretty cool.
All right, good deal. Well, they'll be able to rewatch tonight's game because it's coming up here in a few minutes. So hopefully you're already making your way out to the ballpark. 6 o'clock first pitch against North Florida Christian. So we'll look forward to that. And Coach, appreciate your time once again. Tom, appreciate. Now tonight on the broadcast, I was told you're going to be there along with Terry Mixon, perhaps.
maybe Terry, maybe Ray Corbin. If I'm there with Ray Corbin, I can tell you that we will talk bunches of baseball. Here's a guy who won 36 games in the majors.
Yeah.
Was on the minor league Minnesota Twins that won the World Series. Faced guys like Sal Bando, Frank Robinson, legends.
Yeah.
Uh,
And Terry Mixon, of course, a pretty good ball player himself and
I'm,
coach here.
I'm going to give you Terry's thing. Terry is the only guy that I know of, unless Billy can give me somebody else. He is the only guy I know that went to the collegiate level. I don't care what level, hit a grand slam home run.
Hmm. Oh
Okay.
well, I think Stovall did that.
Stovall did
I
that.
think he did that a couple of times
All right.
in his
Well-
tenure of 8 years
well-
of baseball.
well,
I do know that he did it in professional baseball for sure. I know that he did that in professional baseball.
Okay. Well, yeah, but he didn't just hit one, and it was a grand slam.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yep. One career home run, grand slam. That's pretty cool.
Well, we had Matt Campbell and Hunter Abercrombie do the broadcast on our last ball game, and so maybe we'll put a Hall of Fame team together tonight. But if not, I'm there just in case. Call me Phil.
Well, baseball needs its 10th or 11th man if you have the DH, and you like our 12th man for football, 6th guy for basketball.
I got to
So
run
there
a
you go.
camera last week. That was actually pretty cool.
You can be the third guy for
Enjoy.
baseball. So.
Did Instagram. Was the Instagram reporter, so that was
nice.
Anyway, whatever it takes, we'll have the broadcast for you tonight. And again, appreciate your time as well. The Diamond Dog Podcast airs live each Wednesday evening at 6. Normally, it's a little bit earlier tonight because we have an earlier start for the North Florida Christian game. But during the baseball season, we appreciate you tuning in. And don't forget, after the live broadcast, it's then archived for you to watch at your convenience at our website, rivercountrysports.com. I want to thank all of our sponsors. The Coaches Show was brought to you by First Federal Bank and by Pool Realty. Our executive producer on the broadcast, Tammy Neal. Our streaming director was Rivers Martinez. So for Coach Billy Moran, for Tom Daniels, I'm Wayne Littrell. Thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing to rivercountrysports.com.